Good day everyone. So we are here to report the chapter 9, which is administrative offenses. What is administrative offense? So administrative offense is the illegality of a person's committing an action. That offense consists of prohibited by law, failing to do what is prescribed by law, and doing intentionally or through negligence. So administrative offense is the violation of the provision of Philippine National Police, or which we call PNP. So it is the restrictions of the Philippine National Police officers that they must do and they must do not do in order to not committing violations or offenses and its consequences that is provided by the PNP itself. Next is offense punishable. The following are the offenses for which a member of PNP may be charged administratively. First is neglect of duty, irregularity of performance of duty, C. misconduct, D. incompetency, E. oppression, F. dishonesty, G. loyalty to the government, and H is violation of law, and are defined as follows. So first is neglect of duty or nonfeasance, the omission or refusal without sufficient excuse to perform an act or duty which it was the peace officer's legal obligation to perform. It implies a duty as well as its breach, and the fact can never be found in the absence of duty. So yan, neglect of duty or failure of a policeman to perform his police and legal obligations. So ito yung sabihin yan. Kumbaga, di niya nagawa yung mga kailangan niyang gawin. Negligence, kapabayaan. So next is B, irregularity in the performance of duty. It is the improper performance of some act which might lawfully be done. Improper or unlawful act done by a cop. So, pag ang police, nakagawa siya ng improper act na pwede namang gawing tama o lawfully be done, yun ay irregularity in the performance of duty. So, C is misconduct or malfeasance. Is the doing either through ignorance, inattention, or malice of that which the officer had no legal rights to do at all, as where he acts without any authority whatsoever or exceeds, ignores, or abuses his powers. Misconduct generally means wrongful, improper, or unlawful conduct motivated by premeditated, obstinate, or intentional purpose. It usually refers to transgression of some established and defined rule of action, where no discretion is left except what necessarily may demand. It does not necessarily imply corruption or criminal intention, but implies wrongful intention and not more error of judgment. So, ito naman misconduct is any wrongful, in simple term, any wrongful or illegal behavior exhibited by a cop intentionally. So, kagaya ng misconduct, yun, yung halimbawa, pagdala ng baril kahit di na naman duty, yun. Kasi gusto niyang, kumbaga, may iba't iba naman tayong pag-iisip ng mga bagay-bagay, para sa police, para yung service firearm niya ginagawa niyang kumbaga pang self defense niya o pang takot niya sa ibang tao. Yun ay misconduct, yun, wrongful or illegal behavior exhibited by a cop intentionally. So next is incompetency. So incompetency, the manifest of inadequate ability or finesse for the satisfactory performance of police duties This has reference to any physical, moral, or intellectual quality, and the lack of which substantially incapacitates one to perform duties of a peace officer. So, ito namang incompetency is the lack of an adequate mental or physical or intellectual ability to perform police duty. Pagiging incompetence, lack of ability. Yon. Then E is oppression. Oppression imports an act of cruelty, severity, unlawful exaction, domination, or excessive use of authority, the exercise of unlawful powers or other means in depriving individual in his liberty or property against his will is generally an act of oppression. So, oppression, it is an action referring to abuse of power or oppressive citizens, like kagaya ng pag ang isang citizen na nakita mo na parang suspicious, tapos parang agad pinusasan mo, ganun. Yung parang gumagawa ka agad ng actions para i-oppress yung mga citizens. Abuse of authority, kung porket police ka, pinapakita mo na maangas ka, ganun. Dapat hindi ganun. Yun yung oppression. Next is dishonesty. Dishonesty is the concealment or distortion of truth in a matter of fact relevant to one's office or connected with the performance of his duties. So, yun. Dishonesty. So, defined as the disposition to lie, cheat, deceive, or defraud, untrustworthiness, lack of integrity, lack of honesty, probity or integrity in principle, lack of fairness and straightforwardness, disposition to defraud, deceive, or betray. So, dishonesty. In general a general term is dishonesty, pagiging liar. Kumbaga, sinungaling. Pagiging sinungaling mo as a police officer is masama. Hindi ka na mapagtitiwalaan pa. Yun. So, disloyalty to the government consists of the abandonment or renunciation of one's loyalty to the government of the Philippines and advocating the overthrow of the government. So, example ko dito sa disloyalty to the government is, it is disloyal for a citizen to spy for a foreign state against its own government. So, ibig sabihin nito na, halimbawa, ako as a Filipino citizen, ninire ako ng Amerika para mag-spy sa sarili ng ating government. So, disloyalty yun. Kasi parang overthrow ko na yung government natin. So, next is H, violation of law. Presupposes conviction in court of any crime or offense penalized under the revised penal code or any special law or ordinance. So, it means to say that violation of law is to violate the law. Supposedly, the law must be abide by the citizens in order to have a peaceful governance. Kasi nga, kaya ginawa yung law para maging, orderly or organized yung isang nation. Yan. The next is the classification of offense. So, what are the classification of offense? For purposes of the application of penalties, administrative offense are classified into, first is light, and second is B, less grave, and C is grave offenses. So, light offenses, simple neglect of duty. This incurred by any members of the Philippine National Police who shall fail to supervise, inspect, and control subordinates directly for command as to their punctuality, attendance, prescribed attire, proper use, maintenance of equality, preparation and submission of reports, efficient performance of their duties and responsibilities, and the observance of good order, conduct, behavior, and discipline. Ma-fail kapag supervise, inspect, and control subordinates, yun ay simple neglect of duty. Na-neglect mo yung duty mo as a supervisor to inspect your subordinates. And B, fail to take corrective actions by way of warning, advice, admonition, or suggestion to a subordinate, or to report such conduct when such subordinate is committing or has already committed a dereliction, irregularity, or violation of department rules and regulation. Dito naman sa B, dapat daw kinokorek mo yung action ng subordinates mo as a way of warning, advice, admonition, or suggestion. Ganon. C, fail to order or cause the investigation of a subordinate reported to him as absent without leave. Ibig sabihin nito na as investigator, you must know, as a police officer, you must know that your subordinates or why he or she she or he absent without leave. Kumbaga, kung ano yung cause ng pag-leave niya without pag-absent niya without leave. D, fail to disseminate any order, directive, or instruction. So if you fail to disseminate any order, directive, instruction, that is simple neglect of duty as a police officer. E, fail to coordinate or cooperate with other law enforcement agencies and their personnel. So, if you fail to coordinate or cooperate with other law enforcement agencies, that is simple neglect of duty. So, why do we need to coordinate and cooperate with other law enforcement agencies? So, we need to cooperate with the other agencies in order to be more effective in our duty, in our cause, why we are implementing our laws. And yun. F, absent oneself from office without having filed the necessary application for leave, either prior to the enjoyment of the leave or immediately thereafter. Yun. So, pag nag-absent ka without having filed the necessary application for leave, kung it's either enjoyment or immediate thereafter. So kung nag-fail ka mag-file ng application for leave, simple neglect of duty din 'yon. Then G, fail or refuse to give his name and badge number when properly requested. So 'yun. Pag nag-request sa'yo, it's either your superior or a citizen. If you fail to give your name and badge number, you violate a simple neglect of duty. Yan. So, H, fail to report for duty in prescribed uniform with badge, identification card, service firearm, and other required equipment, except those not required to wear the prescribed uniform by reason of exigency of the service. So, when report for duty, you fail to use the prescribed uniform with badge, identification card, service firearm, and other required equipment, that is simple neglect of duty. Then, and then I, fail to keep an official appointment with an complainant, informer, or crime witness without lawful justification. Yon. So, kung yung complainant, kailangan mo gumawa ng official appointment dapat may official appointment and may lawful justification. Kailangan yun para kasi pag nag-official appointment, may record yun. Pag nag-fail ka doon na di mo na-record yung official appointment ng isang complainant, informer, or crime witness, simple neglect of duty din yun. Next is J. Fail to submit a written report for his commanding officer immediately or within a reasonable time after accidental firing of his firearm, time and circumstances would permit. So, kailangan mo gumawa agad ng written report for commanding officers para hindi mo violate yung simple neglect of duty. So, next, K. K is to fail to take custody of government issued property from a member under his command who is suspended, separated, retired, or dead.
So, letter K, fail to take custody of government issued property from a member under his command who is suspended, separated, retired, or dead. So, if you fail to take custody of government issued property from a member, so ibig sabihin yan kung pag isang member sa inyo, kumbaga na-suspend or separated, retired na or dead, pag nag-failed ka to take custody dun sa government-issued property ng member nyo, yun ay simple neglect of duty kasi responsibilidad nyo yan as a member na inspect sa bawat member ng as a PNP. Yun. So, L. Fail to respond or to expedite actions without sufficient justification on a complainant brought to the attention of the department in person, by telephone, or by letter. So, yun. Fail to respond without any sufficient justification. Kung halimbawa, may complainant, tapos tumawag via telephone, or even by person, tapos hindi mo agad asikaso without sufficient justification. Yun ay simple neglect of duty. M. Fail to conduct within a reasonable period proper, thorough, and complete investigation when assigned to do so. So yun, yung fail to conduct within reasonable period. So kung may time limit lang yung pag-conduct ng may due date yung pag-conduct ng investigation, dapat in that period mapasa mo na yung or matapos mo na yung investigation. If you fail to conduct within a reasonable period of time in your investigation, you violate simple neglect of duty. N. Fail to thorough search for, collect, preserve, and identify evidence in any arrest or investigation conducted by him. So, yan. Dito naman sa letter N, fail to thorough search for, collect, preserve, identify evidence. So, kung halimbawa nagkulang ng ebidensya during investigation, kumbaga may mga naiwan pa mga bakas ng ebidensya na hindi mo nakuha, like imprints ng fingerprint or imprints ng footprint na hindi mo nakuha, fail to simple neglect of duty. Yun kasali din siya sa fail sa simple neglect of duty. So, fail to take property, custody, record, tag, and identify property entrusted to him as evidence. So, as a police officer, you must be entrusted. Pag ikaw police officer ka, pag napunta ka sa pagiging evidence man or evidence custodian, evidence collector. Ganun. Sa isang investigation, kailangan mo mag-take proper custody. Kumbaga, ikaw maging responsible dun sa mga evidence. If you fail to take proper custody in any evidence, you violate the simple neglect of duty. Yan. So, letter P. Be delayed unnecessary in attending to or in performing a duty. So, dapat pag may duty ka, on time, di ka na-delay. Kasi pag na-delay ka, violation of simple neglect of duty na yan. So, letter Q. Appear and testify in court, prosecutor's office, pleb, RAB, and NIB, or on either quasi-judicial body while not in proper uniform, except those duly exempted therefrom. So, ibig sabihin nito, pag naging pinag-attend ka sa court, sa prosecutor's office, or any courts for cases about your investigation, dapat is naka-proper uniform ka. Exempted dun sa mga nasa exemptions ng mga tao, ng mga police officers. Pero kung ikaw police officers, kailangan mo na dapat naka-proper uniform ka. While not in proper uniform, you are violating the neglect simple of duty. Simple neglect of duty, I mean. Yan. R. Fail to report to his commanding or superior officer his inability or incapacity to report for duty. Attend a conference, general inspection. So, fail to report. Dito din, simple neglect of duty to kasi kailangan mo mag-report dun sa commanding officer nyo or superior officer every time. Kailangan nyo mag-report during sa investigation or report for duty o nag-attend ka ng conference or general inspection, ganun. Kailangan nyo mag-report. Pag nag-fail ka mag-report o hindi ka nakapag-report, yun ay simple neglect of duty. So, S. S is fail to inform or participate in an operation. Yun. Fail to inform his superior as to the result of action taken or a call or dispatch. So, yun. So, S naman, fail to inform or participate in an operation. So, kung kasali ka dun sa operation na yun, tapos hindi ka nakapag-participate, yun ay simple neglect of duty. Fail to inform his superior as to result of action taken or a call or dispatch. So, syempre, may mga reasons naman, di ba, kung bakit hindi ka nakasali or nakapag-participate dun sa operation. Failure to inform din dun sa superior mo kung bakit, ano yung cause, kung bakit hindi ka nakasali, nakapag-participate, is simple neglect of duty din. Kasali din siya dun sa letter S. So, T. Letter T, failed to report to his commanding or superior officer a hazardous condition or dangerous situation. So, excuse me. Failed to report to his commanding officer. Yun. Pag nag-fail ka rin pag-report dun sa commanding or superior officer nyo during a crime scene or situations that within a hazardous condition or within the risk to your members as a PNP officer, dangerous situation, you are neglecting you're violating the simple neglect of duty. Kailangan mo mag-inform din sa kanila, kumbaga, para mabawasan yung risk dun sa situation nyo. Yan. So, U. Fail to prepare and submit property written reports within the prescribed required by standing regulations and fail to perform any other analogs to the foregoing. So, as like sa investigation, may due date, kahit matagal. Yun. Kumbaga, dito din sa written reports, kailangan mo submit properly yung written reports mo within the prescribed required time. Yun. Kasi, kumbaga, may due date din siya. Kung mag-fail kang magpasa na, magpas na dun sa binigay sa'yo na, prescribed time, required, sabihin nun, you are violating the simple neglect of duty. Yan. Number 2 is simple irregularity in performance of duty. This incurred by any number of the Philippine National Police who shall A. Be found to have the odor or smell of alcohol on his breath while on duty, or possess alcoholic beverages on his person, police vehicle, post, or office. So, simple irregularity in the performance of duty. So, yun nga, no. Pag-violate na simple irregularity in the performance of duty, kung be found to have an odor or smell of alcohol. So, dapat, pag nasa duty ka, hindi ka nakainom. Kumbaga, hindi ka na-intoxicate ng alcohol. Pag nangyari yun, you're violating the simple irregularity in the performance of duty. And then B, drive a marked police vehicle while not in prescribed uniform, except those are not required to do so by reason of the exigency of the service. So yun, pagda-drive naman sa isang police vehicle, like yung police vehicle na ginagamit pag nag-robbing dun sa isang city, sa syudad, dapat naka-proper uniform. Exempt lang dun sa mga yung exemptions lang is yung mga part ng PNP na pwedeng kahit hindi na mag-uniform. Yan. Exigency of the service. E is use siren and or red blinker light while not responding to an emergency or not in hot pursuit of a fleeing criminal or law violator. Ito naman ay ang paggamit ng siren. Kumbaga yung busina, yung siren, yun. Tsaka red blinker, yung kumikislap-kislap while not responding to an emergency. Halimbawa, kung wala namang emergency, as a police officer, dapat di mo ginagamit yung blinkers mo, tsaka yung siren na parang may emergency. Pag ginawa mo yun, simple irregularity of performance of duty yan. Violating the law. Then D, manager, loaf, or consort with other while on duty or arrange with other member to take his place during his tour of duty without prior approval of his superior. Kung halimbawa, nagkaroon ka ng emergency, may tumawag sa'yo while on duty ka, tapos binigay mo yung post mo dun sa kaibigan mong pulis, sa kabady mo, pinagbabawal yun kung walang approval dun sa superior mo. Wag hindi nagpaalam sa superior nyo while on duty ka, umalis ka without the proper knowledge or you inform your superior. That is simple irregularity in performance of duty. Yun. And E, allow unauthorized members of the police force to drive marked or unmarked police vehicles. So yun, while on duty ka, dumaan kayo while on nag-robbing kayo, dumaan kayo sa bahay nyo, tapos nakita mo yung kumpare mo, tapos kumbaga nag-propose si kumpare na kung pwede makatry mag-drive nung big bike yung ginagamit na sa kagaya sa Quezon City na ginagamit pang hot pursuit ng mga HPG. Yun yung ginagamit nila na big bike, tapos yung kumpare mo parang nag-propose na pwede mahiram. Pag pinahiram mo yun, irregularities in performance of duty yun. Kasi pinagbabawal yun. Pinagbabawal yun. F, interference or obstruct the work of other members or change the assignment or tour of duty of subordinates not belonging to his command and commit any other act analogous to the foregoing. So, ito, F, interface or obstruct the work of other members. Yan. Kumbaga, kung yung kabady mo sa police officer may ginagawa, halimbawa na pag-utusan siyang mag-duty dun sa isang part ng city, yun. Tapos, dapat as a member or as a kabady mo, dapat hindi mo siya ini-interfere sa trabaho niya. Kasi trabaho niya yun eh. Kumbaga, responsibility niya yun kung ano mangyayari doon. Dapat magrespetuhan tayo dun sa mga kanya-kanyang trabaho. Pag nag-fail ka na gawin yan, yun ay simple irregularity in the performance of duty yan. So, yun. 3. Slight or simple misconduct. This offense is incurred by any members of the Philippine National Police who shall A. Fail to salute officials, dignitaries, superior officers, and other officials entitled thereto, and or the national colors during the playing of the national anthem. So ito, slight or simple misconduct. As a police officer, kailangan nating maging magalang sa mga superior natin. Kumbaga, respect the rankings. Yun. Pag nag-fail ka to salute your officials, dignitaries, superior officers, and other officials entitled to be saluted, or the Philippine national flag, national colors, you are violating the slight or simple misconduct. Kasi, kinakailangan talaga yan kahit as civilian, kailangan din nila mag-respect sa flag. And as a public officer, kailangan mo din mag-respect dun sa officials and your seniors, superiors. B. Fight, threaten, or quarrel with any member of the police force, provided that when the member being challenged or threatened is one of a higher rank, the charge shall be that grave misconduct. So yun, pag nakipag-away ka dun sa superior mo, tapos nag-threaten ka ng mas nakakataas sa'yo, yung charge dun is grave misconduct, kasi parang hindi mo nare-respeto yung chain of command, hindi mo nare-respeto yung higher rank sa'yo. Kailangan mas mapagkumbaba ka sa mas mamataas sa'yo. Yan. C. Read newspapers, books, or periodicals while in uniform and in strict duty. So, kailangan naman pag magjo-duty ka, focus ka lang dun sa duty. Bawal ka mag-cellphone, bawal ka magbasa-basa ng kahit na ano. Kasi nga, pag may nangyari dun sa duty na yun, pas hindi ka agad nakapag-take ng actions, or di mo na saksihan yung pangyayari kasi busy ka sa ginagawa mo, kung may kinakalikot ka, yun ay slight or simple misconduct of a police officer. D. Be untidy or couth in his personal appearance and behave in a ungentlemanly or undignified manner. So, if you are in police in uniform or police officer, kailangan mo mag-behave. Kailangan mo yung yung norms, yung the way you approach, or dapat maging simple ka lang na respected na tao. Ganun. Dapat behavior, yung yung manners mo. Yung manners mo dapat karespeto, kasi kung hindi, nilalabag mo yung slight or simple misconduct. E. Fail to recognize and satisfy any just debt. So, these are the following. First is engage in any remunerative or gainful occupation or activity during off-duty without approval of proper authority. So dapat kailangan mong kailangan mo magpaalam doon sa mga otoridad, kumbaga sa higher ranks mo, kung mag-engage ka sa any remunerative or gainful occupation or activity during off duty, kagaya sa halimbawa may party ganyan. Bago ka mag-engage dun sa mga ganun, dapat magpaalam ka muna dun sa mga proper authority, which is your seniors, yung superiors, and other high-ranking officials. 2. Solicit attorneys, ombudsman, guarantors for arrested or confined persons. Yun, mali din to. Solicit attorneys, ombudsman, arrested and confined persons. 3. Use rude or insulting language or exhibit similar rudeness in conduct to the public. Dapat hindi ka use rude or insulting language. Dapat hindi ka bastos kung magsalita ka. Dapat gamitin mo yung pagiging pulis mo. Maging respected person ka. Pag nag-approach ka, dapat kalmado lang, tsaka dapat mahinahon lang, hindi yung kung sino kang parang presidente ng Pilipinas, ganun. 4. Mislead or deceive his peers directly or indirectly in regards to absence of account of sickness. Yun. Ang tawag dito is leave sick ata yan. Sick leave, yan. Dapat kung may sakit ka, pwede ka mag-sick leave kung malala talaga yung sakit mo. Pero kung nagsasakit-sakitan ka lang, yun, hindi pwede yun. Mali din yun. So number 5 is fail to report or record with the complaint or desk officer a case under investigation. So kailangan mo mag-report o mag-record dun sa complaint or desk officer kung meron kayong case na under investigation pa. So number 6, allow idlers, fixers, and persons of questionable character to stay or loiter in his office, post, or place of assignment. So, kagaya ng mga fixers, dapat hindi nyo pinapabayaan na may mga fixer, kasi bawal din yun, pinagbabawal ng batas yan. 7. Fail to maintain cleanliness and orderliness in his office, premises, post, or surroundings. Dapat pag mag-fail ka na mag-maintain dun mag-maintain ng cleanliness, orderliness in his office, yun ay slight or simple misconduct. Then 8. Sell tickets to a benefit show, beauty contest, boxing promotion, charity show, and like unless authorized by proper authority. So bawal ka din magbenta ng mga tickets ng ganyan, mga side hustles, kasi pinagbabawal yan sa PNP. Kailangan dapat magpaalam ka muna dun sa mga authorized proper authority, sa mga higher rankings ng mga superiors. 9. Use official forms, letterheads, seals, or stamps privately or in violation of protocol, provided that when they are used for committing a fraud, the shall be grave misconduct and commit any other act analogous to the foregoing. So yun, use official forms, letterheads, seals, and stamps privately or in violation of protocol. So yun, dapat yun yung mga official forms, letterhead, seals, stamps, kailangan dapat na hindi siya dapat di mo ginamit sa panloloko, kasi magiging grave misconduct yun. Then the commit any other acts analogous to the foregoing, yung mga iba pang ganoon din nangyayari. So less grave offense, less grave neglect of duty, This is incurred by any members of the Philippine National Police who shall A. Fail to execute lawful orders from higher authority or tolerate any subordinate to ignore or ridicule any order, rule, or regulation. B. Fail to make immediate correction or take appropriate action when a dereliction, irregularity, or violation of law or duty is being committed or has been committed in his presence by a subordinate or under his command, or fail to report the same to his commanding officer within 24 hours. C. Fail to prepare a disciplinary or administrative complaint or take such disciplinary actions as may be necessary. Yun na yung mga less grave offense. Less grave offense, irregularities in the performance of duties. So, this is incurred by any members of the Philippine National Police who shall first, A. Apply for and serve a search or seizure warrant of any establishment or private house without the knowledge or approval of the Chief of Police. So, yan. Kailangan mo na mag-apply and serve a search warrant, seizure warrant in any established private house without the knowledge or approval of Chief of Police. Kailangan alam ng Chief of Police nyo na gagawa kayo ng search and warrant. Yan, search warrant. B. Use traffic violations reports which are not duly validated by the Land Transportation Office or by the Metro Manila Authority. Yun. Paggamit ng mga ticket na hindi naman kayo authorized ng LTO, hindi kayo binigyan ng authority, bawal din yun. Use traffic violations reports duly validated by the Land Transportation Office but are not issued to him for traffic enforcement work. So yun, may ticket ka pero hindi naman in-issue sa'yo. Yun, hindi in-issue sa'yo. Kumbaga hindi naka-register sa'yo, wala kayong ID na nagpapatunay na ikaw ay binigyan ng authority ng LTO para maniket. Kumbaga, yung ticket na yun, yung ticket na yun in-issue sa kabady mo, pero ikaw yung gumamit. Parang ganun to. D. Use the official insignia, markings, and seals of the police force in any privately owned vehicle without the authority of Chief of Police. Bawal ka dapat maglagay ng mga stickers or insignia, signs na police force ka dun sa mga privately owned vehicles without the authority of the Chief of Police. E. Disregard or violate traffic rules and regulations while driving a police vehicle when not in hot pursuit or not responding to an emergency call, and commit any other act analogous to the foregoing. Yun. As a police officer, we must abide the law also, because we implement the law and we also abide the law. Kumbaga, disregard or violate traffic rules, dapat hindi natin disregard o binaviolate yung traffic rules. Kahit na may authority tayo, kung hindi naman emergency or mga responding to an emergency or hot pursuit, dapat hindi naman natin dapat labagin yung mga traffic rules and violations. Yan, traffic rules and safety, dapat natin nilalabag yun, disregard. So, less grave misconduct. This is incurred by any member of the Philippine National Police who shall A. Take advantage of his position by procuring goods and commodities at a losing price to an unwilling seller, or partake food, drinks, cigarettes free of charge. B. Engaged in gambling or games of chance, regulated or prohibited while on duty, or in prohibited games of chance while off duty. So yun, bawal dapat sa police, kung police officer ka, dapat bawal ka mag-engage sa mga gamblings, game of chances while on duty or off duty. Loiter in gambling houses, narcotic dens, prostitution house, hotels, motels, mahjong joints, cockpits, nightclubs, cocktail lounge, bar, bookie corners, and other questionable places when not in the performance of police duty. Yun. Pagbabawal din yung pagpunta dun sa mga gambling houses, narcotic dens, especially narcotic dens, prostitution house, hotels, motels, and etc. In order to, kumbaga, hindi madungisan yung pagiging, yung profile mo as a police officer. Kasi pinagbabawal din yun. D. Be drunk and disorderly while on or off duty, or drunk while off duty and in uniform, or in recognizable uniform of the force when the same has no connection with the performance of police duty. So yun, dapat hindi ka nag-uniform kung ano ba mag-iinom kayo. Hindi ka dapat. Yung dapat hindi ka recognizable na police ka. Kasi kung ganon, madudungisan talaga yung pangalan ng pagiging police mo. Yung police na ganon. Dapat nakapag-civilian ka lang kung lalabas kayo ng bahay. Ganon. Maliciously in intrigue against the honor of a co-officer or indulge in the idle gossip or spread rumors that tend to discredit another member. So, hindi dapat kayo nagsisiraan kung halimbawa magkakasama lang naman kayo sa isang department. Sa police officer, dapat hindi mo sinisiraan yung mga kasama mo. Ginagawan ng mga malicious na mga gossips. F. Exhibit marker discourtesy in the course of an official duty, or use profane or insulting language to any superior officer. So dapat kung napagalitan ka or napagsabihan ka ng superior officer mo o sa mga sa superior officer mo, dapat hindi ka gumagamit, hindi ka gumagamit ng mga insulting languages. Hindi ka dapat debate sa senior officer mo. Kumbaga, mas magpakumbaba ka na lang. Parang ganun, intindihan mo na lang siya kasi mas superior mo siya. Ako magagawa doon. G. Serve as escort or security officer whether in a foot or by motor vehicle for any private individual, regardless of his status in social or religious circles on any occasion, unless authorized by the chief of police or the appropriate officials authorized to do so. Yan. Serve as escort or security officer. G yun. So, G ulit. Take a trip abroad without proper leave or approval of the authorities concerned. So, dapat, kung aalis ka ng bansa, pupunta kayo ng pamilya mo o ikaw, take a trip to abroad. Dapat, meron kang proper leave sa mga superior mo. Approval of the authorities. Kailangan gumawa ka ng approval letter. Dapat approve yung pag-alis mo. Kasi kung hindi, violation yan. K. Borrow or solicit money or any valuable from his subordinates and commit any other act analogous to the foregoing. So, kailangan naman, bawal din yung naghihiram ka or solicit ka ng pera o any valuable sa mga kasamahan mo. Violation din yan. Just yan. Commit any other act analogous to the foregoing.
So, let's talk about grave offense, serious neglect of duty. This is incurred by any member of Philippine National Police who shall fail or refuse to take command in emergency in order to carry out police duty, being the officer present in the highest rank, grade, or position, fail to prevent or suppress the criminal act of a subordinate being committed in his presence, or fail to report the same to the chief police within 24 hours after discovery, fail to apprehend or arrest any circumstances where it's used to do so, fail to return personal effects or release prisoners or other properties used in evidence or release which is ordered by competent court or authority. So let's explain number A. Fail to refuse to take command in an emergency. When there is an emergency, a PNP shall take command in every duty if the officer with the highest rank is not present. So, ginayakan nga di na pagwaray nga nan imo yung commanding officer, pagwaray nga ni kung ikaw ang pinaka suitable PNP member na ada, ikaw dapat magkukuha sa command and magdetect sa imo mga comrades to fail to prevent or suppress a criminal subordinate. So, pag nakita sinita, example is, pag nakita mo kung nagkukutong ang police ay mo subordinate, so kailangan mo siya i-suppress, kailangan mo siya kung anon kulungon kay ang pangungutong is a criminal act. Fail to prevent or arrest his duties also. So, sininganin ng mga kumbagay. Example sini is usa nga kriminal, waray mo siya apprehend, sa duty mo siya kay turog ka, ano pa nga da, hubog ka sa imo duty, asya na fail to apprehend. Like, wara mo siya na nakulong kay naging waray mo siya na apprehend, waray mo siya na under arrest, like may da fleeing criminal, ginlanat nimo, tapos waray nimo na apprehend siya kay kawan, wara nimo na lanati, pwede ito maging grave offense. Fail to personal effect or release prisoners or other property using evidence. So pag atom nga ni sa korte, ang ihihimo is kailangan mo mag-release mga evidences para ma-convict an criminal liable. So kailangan mo hatag sa korte yung mga evidences na ordered by the court or authority. So, is performance assigned mission or fail to participate in operation security of the present. So ini like kunyari ang president is in an actual danger and na-fail niya yung operation na protektahan ng president, or wara niyo na nahimo niyo duty as a police officer, pwede ito maging grave offense. F. Fail to administer first aid when able to convey and hospital victims of traffic incidents, shot or stabbed persons, electrocuted and other who are dying or need urgent medication, surgical attention. So, bagan unog naman ini sa aton, no, na sa pagiging police officer kailangan mo talaga maging first aider. Kaya syempre police officer kitaan bagan first responder sa mga incidents para ma-secure tan area, and kailangan natin ma-convey any person to the hospital. G. Fail to quell disturbance or protect a person from death or injury when able to do so. So, kailangan pag ikaw nga ni mag-fail to quell a disturbance or para protektahan ang gusto nga tao sa kamatayan niya o sa pagka-injury, magiging grave offense siya. Ay syempre ibabayan mo lalawat ang tao, napasakitan niya kalugaringon, na masakitan siya. H. Fail to help a brother peace officer on apprehending and or arrest. So ini pagiging police officer may danagod talaga brotherhood. So kailangan natin buligan ang natin kasi police officer para mas maupa yung trabaho. Pero kung mag-fail ka nga nabuligan na natin ka brother na pagiging na police officer so or buligan na police officer na kuhaon nini nga kriminal or i-arrest nini nga kriminal, pwede ka malaya baging grave offense liable. So sini nga H is kailangan talaga natin buligan na natin mga police officer na i-apprehend naton mga kuan, naton mga duties, fail to analogs to the foregoing. So 2. Serious irregularities in performance of duties. This is incurred by any member of the Filipino social engaged directly or indirectly partisan political activities or take part in an election except to vote. So, pag government members ka nga kung mga teachers, police officers, diri ka kuno dapat makiumay sa ng mga politics kay kailangan for mga political activities or any part na may da siya connect sa political mga politics kay serious irregularities in the performance of duties siya kay dapat police officers diri bias as a bodyguard or security guard for any public officials or candidate for any elected public officers or position or any other person within 3 months immediately preceding in any elections within 1 month thereafter unless authorized or deputized by the Commission on Election. So, kailangan mo lang kung maging bodyguard or security guard for any public officials or candidate pag in-authorize ka to deputize or deputized by the Commissions of Elections or COMELEC. So, pag diri nga ni kuno, pwede ka maging criminal liabilities. Kay sa imo giningi mo, kay kailangan talaga deputized by Commission on Elections. Ano sa nga police officer na mag-bodyguard or security guard sa Bscrim kanay na public officials or candidate for any elected public offices or position person within 3 months la itong dapat act as a bodyguard or security guard for any persons or property of any public officials or private persons unless approved by the property authorized concerns. So ini na niya kan na mag-act ka la as a bodyguard or security guard sa usang nga tawo nga public servant, public official, or private persons unless proved by the property authorized by the concern like COMELEC or yung dapat sino po man ang pwede maging authorized na magyakan sa na like may mga death threats sira. So usa nga na public servant baka may ada nga ni death threat magpapabulig siya sa police nga na ma-approve na even proper o giging authorized sa pag bodyguard or security guard sa nga tao, prevent any arrest person or detention person to have the right to counsel. So pag may na-apprehend ka nga ni kuno or na-arrest ka person, kailangan mo siya tagaan right to counsel. Kailangan mo siya tagaan right na makatawag sa iya pamilya, makatawag siya lawyer, nga na magawasan Miranda rights, reveal secrets or confidential police matters and any information which jeopardize police missions and operations or which causes injury or damage to the citizen. So bilang PNP member, bawal mag-reveal secrets or confidential police matters and any information na mag-jeopardize sa police mission operation. Kunyari, para sa ito nga SOF 44 na waray ko gin secret nira, gin confidential nira and information na makato sira sa mama sa pano kay maharap sira na ang mga terrorist is made as pilot sa era. So kailangan talaga nila i-secret ito nga matter para makuha nila ang era goal and dire sila magpulilyaso sa era mission. Establish a check in any public thoroughfare purposes, stopping vehicles pursued for searching them without search warrant without legal ground. So example na sini is pag-checkpoint. So checkpoint nga ni kung sa mga vehicles nga ni bawal ko no bawal mag search sa usa nga vehicle kung waray search warrant without legal grounds. Pero kung nakita niya, di ba sa checkpoint kailangan nila ng plain view lahat ng dapat kita sa usa nga tawo. Pero escort while or off duty any vehicle highly tayable or taxable goods, merchandise, appliances or machinery. So bawal kit ko no mag escort biskan ano pa ito nga na motor or vehicles na nagko-contain taxable goods, merchandise, appliances or machinery. Deliberately or through gross negligence, destroy, damage or loss government property entrusted for official use. So, throughout sa duty, kailangan ko na natin protektahan ang ating mga gamit. Bawal ito ma-destroy, ma-damage, or ma-loss ang government properties like ang ating handgun, na hatag sa government sa PNP. Bawal ito ma-damage, ma-loss kay magiging serious irregularities in the performance of duties ito siya. Mutilate, defiance, or destroy any driver's license, traffic citations, ticket, or temporary operations permit uses with LIU thereof. So, kung magkakandak checkpoint, bawal tako ng reksyon and traffic citations or ticket. Bawal tarubata ng driver's license or temporary operations permit na ginhatag sa ira kay magiging singular irregular of duty siya. Inflict physical injuries upon a suspect, force the latter to give confession. Sa sinima makuha na po ang pagiging pag-torture sa usang tao. So, torture sa usang tao. Bawal kit ko no maghatag any physical injuries sa suspect para lang maghatag siya confession. Bring an apprehending or arrest person to a hotel or motel in a secluded place before turning them to the police station. So, bawal ko no liwat igkanto sa mga hotel or motel and imo na apprehend na mga tao before turning them to the police station. Sell or pawn or rent or loan in this government issues firearm vehicles. So, dirikit ko no pwede mag-sell or mag-pawn mga government issued service firearms. Act as a demeter fixer or return stolen vehicles or other property while held in some or not. So, kailangan tako no ighatag atan mga any stolen vehicles or properties within held for ransom or not. So, kailangan tako no ang mga nakuha ta kunyari nag-checkpoint kit tapos nakuha tayo nga motor kay waray lisensya or waray OR or CR, kailangan ta kuno gihapon nihatag sa era. Pero as kuan mo ida sira babaydan nga ticket sa countermand or the order of the mayor, chief of police or any commander or any superior officers with such order in lawful. So, kailangan ta kuno sumunod kay mayor o kan chief of police or any commander or superior officers with such order is lawful. So, kung ano man nihatag na kuan nga order or sugo ni mayor, chief of police or kung sino pa ito nga superior officer, kailangan ta kuno sumunod sa ira permit. Be employed as a bouncer, security guard, watchman or lookout in a gambling den, narcotic post any other dubious establishment. So, bawal kit ko no maging bouncer or maging security guard or maging watchman, lookout sa mga gambling den, narcotics den or nano pa itong mga bar house, prostitution house, yung mga establishment na pinagbabawalan. So, performing the duties and functions of customs or immigration authorities without proper deputation in accordance with law. Escort or allowed other members to escort detention prisoners outside the jail in order to attend funeral, visit a sick relative, or solicit a bond within a order or proper jurisdiction. Commit any analogs to the foregoing. So, this grave offense, serious neglect of duties. This is incurred by any member of the Philippine National Police who shall fail or refuse to take command. So, grave misconduct is incurred by any member of Philippine National Police who shall maltreat or abuse any prisoners under his custody or detain. So, bawal dito naman torture mga prisoners under your custody. Join a strike or refuse report on duty while secure changes in terms conditions. So, bawal gid ko nulat mag-join to strike. Pero mga private, pwede sila mag-strike. Pero sa era laliwat ko, as a police officers, bawal kit mag-join sana ng mga rally-rally. Or tapos, direct ko na pwede mag-refuse to report for duty in order to secure changes in terms of condition of his employment. Public concern with women or ill repute and or scandalous habits with or maintain wife or other legitimate spouse. Bawal gid ko nulat mga bit. Kung usalay mo mahal, dapat usala talaga. Diri na magdinamo-damo. Fail or refuse to surrender or deposit his service firearm, badge, identification card, and police vehicles if any of his commanding officers on demand during his period of suspension. So, pag mag-fail ka nga ni kono to surrender the deposit of your firearms or badge, identification, or card with police vehicles, pwede ito naging grave misconduct. Kaya syempre, adto ka sa iyong suspension, aday mo firearms, so pwede mo doon gamiton sa ibang bagay na police ka pero suspend ka man. Willful failure to pay debts or obligation due to government and commits any other acts analogous foregoing. So, kailangan mo kuno magbayad utang or mga obligations nimo sa government o commit niya oppression. Any members the police officer shall be abuse his authorities tyrannical high demanded manner shall be of oppression. So direct ko no, bawal gito no mag-abuse authority na baka ning kay PNP members ka mag-abuse ka na sa public na himuon mo na sira baka ning kay waray sira mga pusil. Direct kailangan magdako naton ulo. Gross incompetency. When the offensive neglect is committed by the reason of manifest lack of inadequate abilities and fitness, part of response member of satisfactory performance police duties, the erring member shall be out of gross incompetency. So, kay kung magiging pabaya kit ko no, maging negligence kit committed by the reason of manifest of lack adequate ability and fitness on the part kay kung dikit ko no direct ako no ma-apprehend ko like direct ako ma-apprehend ang isang criminal kay direct nakit fit. So magiging kung ano ito grave misconduct. Disloyalty to the government. Any members of police force of the government of the Republic of Philippines or shall advocate overthrow the government. So bawal and dapat as a PNP member ada sa aton ethics na maging loyal permi sa government and dirita dapat sira dirita wari get right na mag-strike sa era kay sira mismo ano papasweldo sa aton at sira ang pinaka aton boss sa usa nga organization. Dishonesty. Any members of the police or social conceal, alter, or distort the truth in a matter of fact relevant to his office or connected with the performance of duties shall be guilty of dishonesty. So, baka initial crime scene na the truth will always remain the truth. No matter how you conceal or alter, the truth will soon come out. So, as a police officer, diri ko na pwede nga i-conceal nimo an o conceal or i-alter nimo ang truth na imo baliktaron ang truth or nano ba ito na para na nimo matahuban ang kriminal. So kailangan mo talaga maging truthfully sa imo pagiging police officer. That's dishonesty. The following fact constitute grave dishonesty. Any member who shall knowingly enter his information cells or CSC to want to form or his individual for his profile facts which are not true or conceal or distorts damaging facts, makes a false report or entry in the police blotter or any department records, or give deliberate false testimony against or in favor of person facing a criminal administrative discipline charge, destroy, conceal, or tamper physical evidence to be present in court by exchanging, altering, damaging, or diluting as the effect of its original appearance, composition, and content, appropriate for this or another is personal use any stolen properties which is recovered, found, or abandoned, and solicit money or valuable for the amicable settlement or cases under investigation. So sini now but police officers is kailangan mo kuno maging truthful sa imo police profile, and B naman is dapat direct pwede mag himo report, police report, or nano ba ito na police blotter na makakaraot sa aton department record, give deliberate false testimony against. So ang pagiging PNP ay diri dapat bias kung nano an imo na investigahan or imo nakitaan dapat asya lalawatan imo gahatag i-destroy or conceal or tamper physical evidence. So pag atukit nga ni sa investigation, bawal ta kuno i-tamper any physical evidence na pwede gamitin sa court, kay once na matamper ito pwede mag-iba ang investigation or pwede ang mag-iba ang flow sa investigation kay natamper mo na. So kailangan ta maging mahinay and kailangan ta maging careful sa mga physical evidence na ato sa crime scene kay i-present ito sa court para maging smooth and flow san korte.
Violation of law. A police force member convicted of a crime under the revised penal code or special law will be charged by the PLEB for violation of law. The administrative investigation is independent of court proceedings, and the nature of the crime determines the classification. So, when a police officer is found guilty of breaking a law, whether it's under the revised penal code or a special law, they'll be charged for the People's Law Enforcement Board for violating the law. This investigation by the PLEB is separate from the court proceedings and focuses on the administrative side of things. The severity of the crime determines how it's classified within this administrative investigation process. So A, maliciously refrain, and dereliction of the duties of his office from instituting prosecution for the punishment of violator of the law, or shall tolerate the commission of criminal offenses. So, in this article, it states that if a police officer, intentionally neglects their duty by not starting legal action against someone who broke the law, or if they allow criminals acts to happen without taking action, they can be held accountable for this misconduct. B. Officers can commit crimes in exchange for gifts, either personally or through mediation, or accept gifts for non-crime acts or refraining from fulfilling their official duties as per direct bribery. So in this article, says that if a police officer asks for or receive gifts or favors in exchange for doing something illegal or for not doing their duty, they can be charged with direct bribery. This includes both taking gifts for illegal actions and accepting them for not doing they're supposed to do as part of their job. So C. Accept gifts offered to him by reason of his office. So in this article, says that if an officer accepts gifts specifically because of their position or job, they could face charges. This means if they receive presents on favors just because they're in their official role, it can be seen as a form of misconduct. So D. Appropriate public funds or property, or shall take or misappropriate, or shall consent or through abandonment or negligence shall permit any other person to take such public funds or property wholly or partially. So with this, this refers to the situation where a police officer takes public funds or property for their own use without proper authority. If an officer misuses or allows someone else to take public funds or property, either through consent, negligence, or abandonment, they can be held accountable for this act of appropriation or misappropriation. So A. Apply any public fund or property under his administration to any public use other than that for which fund or property were appropriated by law or ordinance. So, illegal use of public funds or property. So, with this, in this law, says that if a public police officer uses public funds or property for purposes other than what they are supposed to be used for according to the law or ordinances, it's considered illegal. Essentially, it's about using public resources in a way that isn't permitted or authorized by the rules governing those funds or property. So F. Consent to the escape of a prisoner of his custody or charge. So in this article, it deals with a situation where a person in charge of a prisoner allows to agree to the escape of that prisoner. If a person who has custody or control over a prisoner helps or allows that prisoner to escape, they can be charged for convening with or consenting to the prisoner's evasion. So G. Allow through negligence an escape for a prisoner under his custody. So this pertains to the situations where a person who has custody or control over a prisoner fails to prevent their escape due to negligence or carelessness. If someone responsible for a prisoner's custody is negligent and allows the prisoner to escape, they can be charged for evasion through negligence. H. Remove, destroy, or conceal documents or papers officially entrusted to him. So this deals with a scenario where a person entrusted with official documents or papers intentionally removes, destroy, or hide those documents. If someone in charge or officially documents takes any of these actions, they can be charged with infidelity with the custody of documents. I. Fail. Upon demand from competent authority to lend his cooperation towards the administration of justice or other public services. So, this addresses situations where an individual, when asked by the proper authorities, refuses or neglects to provide cooperation necessary for the administration of justice or other public services. If someone fails to assist when the authority asks for cooperation in legal matters and public services, they can face consequences under this law. So J, the revised penal code prohibits the overuse of punishments, including cruel and humiliating ones, by the prisoner's guard unless authorized by regulation. So in this article, this forbids guards or custodians from excessively using punishment, especially those that are cruel or humiliating. On prisoners, any use of such punishment needs to be authorized by specific regulations or rules. Okay? Abandon his office before the acceptance of his resignation to the determinant of the police public service. So, this refers to the situation where a public officer leaves their position without officially resigning and before the resignation is accepted, which causes harm or detriment to the public service. If a public officer abandons their post before their resignation is accepted, and this action harms the public service, they can face consequences under this law. So L, the text prohibits soliciting or making immoral advances to women in interest of decision making or reporting, as well as making incidents against chastity. So this refers to the prohibition against soliciting or making indecent or immoral advances towards women, especially in contexts related to decision making, reporting, or matters concerning their work. It also includes any actions that could be considered offenses against their chastity or morality. So the text outlines the definition of serious physical injuries, including intentional mutilation, wood, beating, and assault in their consequences. It also mentions the potential of the injured person to become insane, imbecile, blind, lose speech, hearing, smell, or leg, becoming incapacitated for their work, becoming deformed, or have been ill or incapacitated for over 90 days. So this refers to the definition of serious physical injuries in this law, which includes intentional acts causing mutilation, severe wounds, beating, or assaults that result to severe consequences. These consequences can include the victim becoming insane, imbecile, blind, losing their ability to speak, hear, or smell, losing a limb, being unable to work, suffering deformities, or being sick or incapacitated for more than 90 days as a result of the injuries caused. So O, inflict upon other injuries which shall incapacitate or the offended party for labor for 10 days or more, or shall require medical attendance for the same period. So this article deals with the less serious physical injuries. It involves causing injuries to someone that make them unable to work for at least 10 days or need medical attention for the same duration. If the injuries cause this level of incapacity or require medical care for at least 10 days, they are classified or less serious physical injuries under this law. So P, the text states that minor physical injuries can incapacitate an offended party for more than 9 days, require medical attention, or prevent them from engaging in their usual work. So, minor physical injuries, as per the law, are those injuries that cause an individual to be unable to work, need medical attention, or be incapacitated for a period ranging from 1 to 9 days. If the injuries fit within this time frame and result in the described effects, they are considered minor under this law. So Q, arrest or detain under in any case other than those authorized by law or without reasonable ground thereof for the purpose of delivering to the proper authorities. So this deals with unlawful arrest. It occurs when someone arrests or detains another person without proper authorization by law or without reasonable grounds to do so. Unlawful arrest happens when someone is held against their will without a valid reason or without following the legal procedures outlined for such arrest, or threaten another with the infliction upon the person, honor or property, or theater or of his family, or any wrong amounting to a grave threats or threaten to commit a wrong not constituting a crime. So, grave threats, as defined in the law, involve threatening someone with harm to their person, reputation, property, or that of other family, or threatening to do something that not a crime but still considered wrongful. It covers serious threats aimed at causing fear or intimidation, as without authority of law prevent another by means of violence from doing something not prohibited by law or compel him to something against his will, whether it be right or wrong. So, grave coercion, as outlined in Article 286 of the Revised Penal Code, occurs when someone uses force or violence without legal authorities to stop another person from doing something that isn't against the law or to make them do something against their will, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. It involves compelling someone to act against their wishes through force or threats. Seize, by means of violence, anything belong to his debtor to the purpose of applying the same to the payment of the debt. So, light coercion. So, it involves using violence to take something that belongs to a debtor with the intention of using it to pay off the debt. It's a form of coercion aimed at seizing the debtor property forcefully to settle the debt owed. So you perform, under pretense of official position, any act pertaining to any person in authority or public office without being lawfully entitled to do so. So, usurpation of official function. So, occurs when someone pretends to have an official position and performs action or duties reserved for individuals in authority or public office without the law right to do so. It involves falsely claiming authority and acting if someone holds a position they do not actually possess. V. Publicity and improperly make use of insignia, uniforms, or dress pertaining to an office not held by such person, of which he is not a member. So, the illegal use of uniforms or insignia refers to the public and improper use of clothing, badges, or symbol associated with an office or position that someone doesn't actually hold or belong to. It involves wrongly wearing or displaying such attire or emblems that are exclusive to a particular office or group. W. Detain another without legal grounds. So, arbitrary detention happen when someone holds or detains another person without any legal basis or proper grounds to do so. It involves unlawfully confining or keeping someone against their will without any valid reason or authorization under the law. X. The detainee must be delivered to the proper judicial authorities within 12 hours or light penalties, 18 hours for correctional penalties, and 36 hours for attractive capital penalties as per Executive Order Number 272 dated 25 July 1987. So, this sets time for delivering the detainee to the correct judicial authorities. It specifies that the last severe penalties, the detainee must be brought before the proper authorization within 12 hours. For moderately severe penalties, it's within 18 hours, and for more severe or harsh penalties, it's within 36 hours. This order outlines the maximum time a person can be held before being presented to the appropriate judicial authorities depending on the severity of the offense. Y. The Revised Penal Code prohibits delays in the execution of judicial or executive orders for the release of prisoners or in the service of notice for their liberation. So, this prohibits any delays in carrying out court or executive orders related to releasing prisoners or serving notifications for their freedom. Essentially, it's about ensuring that orders or releasing prisoners or notifying them without their liberation are executed promptly without unnecessary delays. So lastly, Z. The text outlines the penalties for violating domestic laws, including entering a dwelling without permission, procuring a search warrant without just cause, and searching a person's belongings without two witnesses. It also states that individuals who enter a dwelling without consent or without a warrant must refuse to do so. So, it includes entering a home without permission, obtaining a search warrant about proper reason, searching someone's belongings without two witnesses present. It also emphasizes that individuals who enter a dwelling without consent or warrant should decline to do so. Essentially, it addresses penalties or unauthorized entry and unjust searches, and stressing the importance of proper legal procedures.
Administrative penalties. Imposable penalties. The following are the penalties that may be imposed by the plebe in police administrative cases. First, A. Withholding of privileges. B. Restriction to specified limits. C. Suspension. D. Forfeiture of salary or fine. E. Demotion of not more than one rank. Kumbaga bababa ng ranking. F. Dismissal, kung di mo di-dismiss ka na sa trabaho mo as a police officer. Yan, ito yung mga administrative penalties ng police administrative cases. So, a schedule of penalties. The penalties for light, less grave, and grave offenses shall be made in accordance with the following schedule. For A. For light offenses, withholding of privileges or restrictions to specified limits or suspensions or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 1 day to 10 days minimum period. Ito yung light offenses. Number 2, without folding of privileges or restrictions to specified limits or suspension or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 11 days to 20 days medium period. So, yung una is minimum period, withholding of privileges naman. Number 2, from 11 days to 20 days of forfeiture of salary or suspension, medium period to. Number 3 is withholding of privileges or restrictions to be specified with or suspension or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 21 days to 30 days maximum period for light offenses. So, ito yung maximum period ng light offenses from 21 days to 30 days. Ito yung mga offenses, light offenses na maximum period na to. It's either suspension or forfeiture of salary or any combination of that violation. Yan. For less grave offenses naman, withholding of privileges or restriction to specified limits or suspension or to forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 31 days to 45 days minimum period. Ito yung minimum period ng less grave offenses. Ito yung consequences dun sa mga less grave offenses na mga na-violate mo. So, ito yung minimum period from 31 days to 45 days. Number 2, withholding of privileges or restrictions to specified limits or suspensions or to forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 40 days, 46 days to 60 days minimum period. So, if you violate any less grave offenses as a police officer, pwede din may pataw sa'yo yung medium period, which is 46 days to 60 days. Yung consequence for less grave offenses. Number 3, without holding privileges or restriction to specified limits or suspensions or forfeiture of salary or any combination thereof from 61 days to 90 days maximum period. Ito yung maximum period ng less grave offenses as a consequence for violating the less grave offenses. Ito yan. Lahat ng to is either withholding of privileges or restriction to specified limits or suspension, maging suspended ka sa trabaho mo, or forfeiture of salary, kumbaga hindi ka sasahuran ng gobyerno. Yun. So C for grave offense, number 1, suspension for 3 months minimum period. So ito yung pinaka minimum consequence para sa mga police officers na nag-violate ng grave offenses. Number 2, forced resignation, demotion of not more than 1 rank, medium period. So ito naman, number 2, medium period lang to, pero gagawa dito sa mga PNP officers na gumawa ng grave offenses is forced resignation, demotion for not more than 1 rank. So bababa yung ranking mo, yung rank mo, hindi lang isang baitang, kumbaga hindi lang isang baitang yung pagbaba, kundi 1 na more than one yung pagbaba niya. Hindi kaya pipilitin ka ng mga superior mo mag-resign as a police officer. So number 3, dismissal, maximum period. Ito naman, dismiss talaga, tatanggalin ka talaga ng superior mo sa pagiging police. Yun, tatanggalan ka ng tsapa, tatanggalan ka ng lisensya. Limitation and imposition of penalties. If the penalty of suspension is imposed by the plebe, the same shall not exceed 3 months suspension, and in case for forfeiture of salary or fine, the amount shall not exceed the equivalent of 1 month pay. On the other hand, the penalty of withholding of privilege shall be confined, determined of vacation, leave privileges, availment of loan privileges, and other participation in training, grant, or programs, and such other similar privileges normally enjoyed by the civil service employees. So, yun. Limitation on the position of penalties. Ito lang mga limitations niya. Dapat daw, the same shall not exceed in 3 months suspension. Yan, kung yung suspension naman ay inimpose ng pleb, dapat hindi daw sa sobra dun sa 3 months suspension. And in case of forfeiture of salary, dapat hindi lumagpas sa 1 month yung forfeiture of salary, yung fine na kukunin. Not exceed equivalent of 1 month. Ibig sabihin, kung 35k yung sweldo mo, dapat hindi lumagpas ng 35k yung fine dun sa offense. Then yun, shall be confined, determine the vacation, leave privileges, availment of loan privileges. Yung other mga privileges mo naman is na-enjoy mo yan as a civil service employee. So, hindi dapat yan kasalin sa imposition of penalties. Yan. So, next. Qualifying circumstances in termination of penalties to be imposed, mitigating and aggravating attendance to the commission of the offense. The circumstances shall be considered. The following are mitigating circumstances. Ito yung mitigating circumstances naman, ito yung mga pagbaba dun sa offense mo. Kumbaga, kung less grave ka, magiging slight offense na lang, parang ganun. Number 1, physical illness. Kung ba may sakit ka. Number 2, part of good faith. Kung good naman yung intentions. Number 3, length of service in the government. 4, analogous circumstances. The following are aggravating circumstances. So, ito naman yung pagtaas ng offense. Like, halimbawa, less grave to grave offense. Ano? Taking advantage of official position. Yung ginagamit mo yung official authority mo. Taking undue advantage of subordinate. Yun, dapat hindi mo inaabuso yung subordinates mo. Undue disclosure of confidential information. Yung pagkakalat ng mga confidential na information, kasali din siya aggravating circumstances. 4. Use of government property in the commission of the offense. So, dapat pag-use ng property of the government, like using your service firearm, that is use of government property in the commission of offense. Kung ginamit mo yung service firearm mo, paggawa ng crime. 5. Habituality. Number 6, offense is committed during office hours or within the premises of the working office or building. So, yun. Kung yung offense mo daw, ginawa mo dun sa, halimbawa, sa department nyo, sa departamento nyo. Yun. Yun ay aggravating circumstance. 7. Employment of fraudulent means to commit or conceal offense. And 8. Analogous circumstances.
So, guidelines in the application of penalties. The imposition of the penalty shall be made in accordance with the manner below provided. A. Like penalties shall be imposed for the offenses, and only one penalty shall be imposed for each case. Each case means one administrative case which may involve one or more charges or counts. So, this principle states that similar penalties should be given for offenses and within one case or administrative proceedings, which might include multiple charges or counts. Only one penalty should be imposed. In simpler terms, for similar offenses within one administrative case, only one penalty will be given, even if there are multiple charges to counts involved. B. The minimum of the penalty shall be imposed where only mitigating and no aggravating circumstances are present. So this means that if a situation involves only circumstances that make the offenses less serious and not factors that make it worse, the minimum penalty will be applied. In simpler terms, if there's nothing making the situation worse, the lightest punishment will be given. C. The medium of the penalty shall be imposed where no mitigating and aggravating circumstances are present. If there aren't any factors that make the offenses less serious or worsen it, the middle or medium penalty will be applied. In essence, when there's a lack of both positive and negative factors influencing the severity of the offense, a moderate penalty will be given. D. The maximum of the penalty shall be imposed where no mitigating and aggravating circumstances are present. So this means that if there are no factors making the offense less serious or making it worse, the maximum or harshest penalty will be applied, where neither positive nor negative factors affect the severity of the offense. The most severe punishment will be given. So E. Where aggravating and mitigating circumstances are present, the rule A shall be applied where there are more mitigating circumstances are present. Rule shall be applied where the circumstances equally offset each other's. The penalty for two or more charges or counts should be the most serious charge, with the rest considered as aggravating circumstance. So, if there are more mitigating circumstances than aggravating ones, the lighter penalty will be applied. In B, if the mitigating and aggravating circumstance cancel each other other out equally, the standard penalty will be applied. If so, C, if there are multiple charges or counts, the most serious one will determine the primary penalty, while the other will be considered as aggravating circumstance contributing to a harsher punishment. So, administrative disabilities inherent in certain penalties. So, the following are the administrative disabilities inherent in certain penalties. A. The respondent's dismissal penalty results in the cancellation of eligibility, forfeiture or leave credits, and retirement benefits, and disqualification for re-employment in the police service. So, when a respondent receives the penalty of dismissal, 1. Their eligibility is cancelled, meaning they might lose certain rights or qualifications for certain positions or benefits. So 2. They forfeit leave credits or retirement benefits, losing any accumulated time off or retirement funds they might have had. 3. They are disqualified from being re-employed in the police service, meaning they cannot be hired or return to work in that particular field or position. So B, the penalty of suspension, which consists in the temporary separation or cessation of work of the respondent for the duration of the sanction, shall carry with it that of disqualification or promotion corresponding to the period of suspension. So, when a penalty of suspension is imposed, 1. It involves temporarily stopping the respondent from working for a specific period. 2. Along with this suspension, there is disqualification from being promoted during the period of suspension. This means that while suspended, the person cannot be considered for any promotion within that time frame. So, lastly, C. The penalty of forfeiture of salary, which consists of an amount not exceeding 1 month's salary, shall carry it that of disqualification for promotion corresponding to the penalty period. So, when someone receives the penalty of forfeiture of salary, 1. They lose an amount of salary typically not more than one month's worth. 2. Along with this loss of salary, there's a disqualification from being promoted for the duration that matches the penalty period. During this time, they won't be considered any promotions. So that will be all. Thank you for listening and have a great day.